everybody. Welcome to Marble Hill 225, Neighborhood and You. And this show is about you and the neighborhood and what's going on with the neighborhood, what's happening with people there, the good things about it, okay? Because we hear enough on the news, we hear enough in the neighborhood about bad things going on, but we want to hear about the positive things going on here in the neighborhood, in the Bronx, and even in New York. So it's just not exclusive just from one area or one neighborhood. It's about the whole Bronx. And I'm Bronx strong. I grew up, was raised here in the Bronx since I was 4 years old, and now I'm so many years old, okay? But I had a good time here in the Bronx, and I'm gonna have a good time here today because I have a returning guest with me, Derek Doward. Welcome, Derek. How you doing?
Thanks for having me, Joyce.
And Derek is the CEO and founder of the Bronx Basketball Hall of Fame Incorporated. And the organization is now 2 years ongoing, Derek. Is that correct?
2.5.
Two and a half. I stand corrected. Look at that. It's long and strong
Yes, we are.
in the Bronx. And a lot has been happening since Derek was last on our show. It was like in the first year, and we were talking about some upcoming events. So since last year, talk to us a little bit about what's happening, and especially your main event that you were building up to in November. Let us know.
You're talking about last year's event, right?
Yeah, last year's event.
Well, actually, last year's event was a great success. We were anticipating about 350 people, but
wow.
We wind up with 450 people, and we had to order some more tables. So it got kind of hectic a little, but it worked. So people are being really enthused about what we're trying to do. So I'm looking forward to this year's event.
Okay, so tell them what that event was. It was a dinner dance and exactly what you did, what that event represents.
Well, it was awards dinner. What we were doing was acknowledging the legends of Bronx basketball. And we had a few different categories that we were putting people in. We had women, we had coaches, we had contributors, and we had players. What we would do is we would call up the individuals and we would say a little bit about them. And we would acknowledge them for the things they did. Now, we had coaches and we had, like I said, players and women. And it was a great event. Actually, I didn't really think that we was going to have that many people, but looking forward to this year's event.
Right. And so just to expound on it in a little detail, this organization is recognizing players.
Mm-hmm. Not only players.
Okay, sorry, right, I stand corrected.
Not only players.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
Not only players, but mainly those associated with basketball that grew up here in the Bronx in New York. And you want to give them a little recognition more than they have received or have not received. Is that the...
Well, you know what? Our organization is called the Bronx Basketball Hall of Fame, but I just want to make it clear that everyone's not a Bronx Basketball Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Our organization is mainly about acknowledging people.
Okay.
We have a lot of people that say, why you're not talking about this person or you're not talking about that person. But like I said, everyone's not a Hall of Famer, but you can be acknowledged by this group. Mm-hmm. So a lot of guys, they didn't really get they do what they were supposed to do. But what we do now with this organization is we acknowledge them, let them know what they accomplished through basketball. Right. And it's not only with basketball, because a lot of people, it stopped at basketball, but we're mainly concerned with people that do it past basketball. What do you do after basketball?
Okay.
What do you do for your community? So It's not only all about players.
Right.
It's about contributors and anything that's involved with basketball.
Okay. And that's good to know. It makes sense because like even I myself, going to high school, going to college, but mainly my glory days were in high school playing ball. Mm-hmm. And even I was invited to coach a girls team or to be a mentor to a girls group. Mm-hmm. You're talking like, what are we doing in our afterlife,
Exactly.
after we leave that scene of
Mm-hmm.
high school and college.
Exactly.
Okay, did you grow up? Did you get married? You have 10 kids, made 2 teams? No, I'm only kidding. What are they doing afterwards? But, that's very important. So at this awards dinner, because I attended myself, okay, and it was fabulous. I enjoyed it. The music was good. The food was good. I enjoyed seeing the players. And participants of this function wasn't just like Well, in my eyes, everybody is somebody, but you have very prominent people in these positions at this awards dinner. The MC people was the MC for Madison Square Garden, okay? So it's like...
Mike Wazowski.
Say that name again.
Mike Wazowski.
Okay, Mike Wazowski. And I
know
thought
you
I was in the garden when he was talking and calling up the inductees up to the podium to present them their awards.
And I want to thank Mike personally because
Yeah.
he does this. He doesn't ask us for anything. All he does is get a free dinner like everyone else
Right.
has to pay. And he's been great for the organization. So I'm hoping that he can make it this year. Only reason why he won't make it is if the Knicks play. If the Knicks play, we're out.
Oh, okay. Well, we hope the Knicks won't be playing on
Thursday. November 7th.
November 7th. That's
Yes,
the upcoming awards. And while we're saying that, the Bronx Basketball Hall of Fame Incorporated, okay, they are incorporated. That we are a licensed 501c3 non-for-profit organization. So we are looking for donations. We're gladly to receive it because there's an ultimate goal besides just these awards dinners that you're looking to do. You want to get a building?
Yes, we're trying to get our own place, a facility where we can house the Bronx Basketball Hall of Fame. Maybe we could put our memorabilia in there.
Right.
And we could have places for the kids to where they can come after school programs and things like that. Because, the kids nowadays, there's a lot of things going on that we would like to address.
Right.
So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to reach out to the youth because they're in dire need of some direction.
Right. And direction also because you and I, we're pretty much not that far apart in age. I don't think so. We're as young as we feel, right?
I'll take that. But I think I got you by a few years.
Okay, yes, true. And where I'm going with that, we grew up in the same time of happenings. When we come home from school, there was an after-school program. There was a community center. I remember the center we can go and play ping pong. And what's that thing? Knock hockey. You could play chess. At night on Monday nights at PS 122, that was a basketball night when they played ball. You had that growing up in your neighborhood.
Yes, in PS 18 Community Center.
Right.
I mean, PS 18 is the reason I'm here now because that's where I met all my mentors. And God rest his soul, Floyd Lane just passed. We just had his services. He was one of my main mentors, and he was one of the reasons why I started this Bronx Basketball Hall of Fame.
Right.
Because I saw him as he was getting older. I was like, you know what, man, this is a great man. And we have to do something to acknowledge him because the next generation is going to forget about him. So that's what this Bronx Basketball Hall of Fame is about.
Okay.
Acknowledging all these great men and women who has contributed to the game.
Right, and that's a good thing you said. We have to recognize them and also pass that mental down. Because I was watching the Olympics, and just saw the joy and the togetherness that the teammates have for one another and the sacrifices that they made. But where does it start? At home, in their communities? Do they have a place to practice? Do they have a place to go to? Do they have that, I was going to say fellowship, well, that togetherness, playing together in a neighborhood as kids? But also, being part of a nonprofit organization, they're able to receive contributions and donations. It is a tax write-off, so if you're willing to donate to this organization for the mission that they're trying to accomplish, please do so, because you do so.
Please.
You will see the information at the end of the show for the credits for that. But where I'm going to next is that you want to have a place in your own building where you can put some of this memorabilia of the inductees, okay? So you kind of did that partially. Was it in July when you went to the museum?
Oh, okay. That's great. I'm glad you brought that up. Right now, we've been accepted into the Bronx Historical Society.
Right.
And what we do is right now is, we have to realize that before we started playing, there was people that started before us. We talk about the pioneers of Bronx basketball. A lot of people aren't really familiar, and they don't realize that back in the day, in the 20s and 30s, Bronx basketball was huge.
Yes.
And that was because of NYU. NYU right now is located in Manhattan, but back in the day, it was located in the Bronx. So the Bronx was a hot spot. I mean, all the ball players were coming here, all the news media was here. So, and I didn't really realize that until I got into this organization that we played that huge part in basketball.
Okay. Right. And see, by me joining the organization and coming to the award ceremony, receiving the brochure, the booklet, it's a nice booklet, okay, that you give of all the players, the inductees, and their names. I thought I knew a lot of people in basketball, but you know, I can name the people from the Knicks starting in the 1960s and 70s, and I thought I was able to name the Lakers, West Sunsell, Baltimore Bulls. But when I started seeing names there, I'm like, this is before I was born. And it opened up my world to basketball more than what I just knew. And these players, I said, I don't know all these players. And as they are picking and choosing these people, this is a very serious task that they're doing. They're not just people picking names amiss. They're really studying who they are inducting into this Hall of Fame. It even had me a couple of times researching these players, going on Google and reading about them.
And you know what? I'm excited about this year's class because what we're doing this year is what we didn't do last year. Is this year, in addition to the 16 players that we're putting in 10, and we're calling this our centennial class, because to be eligible for this class, you have to have been born before 1924 and before.
Wow.
Right? So right now we got some players going in. I'm looking forward to, we got a Hank Zoni, and his wife is still with us, so she'll be there at the event. And we're talking about putting in people like Nat Holman,
right,
Lulu Bender,
right,
people that you don't really know about, Toby Kane. You know, all these guys made a significant imprint on the game of basketball in its early stages. Because when basketball first started, people didn't know about it. It was a sport that it was started in Canada, and it didn't come over here until maybe in 10 years later, something like that. So people weren't really aware of the game of basketball, and the Bronx played a huge part in that.
Wow. And and moving that, shifting that a little bit, because like you said, you're researching these people from the 1925 and before, and giving them the recognition they're just due, as they deserve,
yes,
and appreciation, and letting us know exactly historically how basketball got started and the people that had a big impact on this.
Huge.
Now, somebody that had a big impact on your life, where you grew up in your houses, you gave your heartfelt dedication to a specific project this summer. Tell us what you did. And not just you, the organization.
Yes. That was Nate Archibald. He was one of my mentors. I knew Nate since I was 4 years old. Our families hung out together. And you know what? He did so much for our community, the Bronx. I mean, he was in the NBA, and every year he would come back and coach the kids, and he's still doing it to this day.
Wow.
So this court that we painted in his name was the same court that he and I played basketball in. And when I felt it was only right that we name it after him, I had to go through a lot of red tape with the Housing Authority and the Tenants Association, but they agreed upon it, and it's great. The court looks great.
Yes.
And I might have to say it was a lot of work. I painted it, me and my sons, and my brother.
and to say being a part of that, because there's meetings before that, and Derek would always keep us upgraded on it. We got to get this paint, we got to do this. It was done in June, correct?
Yes.
And up until that day, and then I drove by there to see where the course is, and he was like, right there, off of 143rd and Patterson, y'all, okay? The Patterson houses. And I'm like, this basketball court, when you go back to these courts, even when I go back to my court, it looked bigger when you were younger.
Yes.
Now I look at this court, I was like, this little court? But that was the court Tiny played on.
Yes,
And they did a phenomenal job of repainting that court. And you'll see some pictures and highlights during the show and after the show on it. They even got new basketball nets, the backboards, the rims.
Yes.
They bought a scoreboard that's mobile. They can bring it back and forth as needed. The court, it has Nate's name on it. And what a wonderful job to do. And what a great show of appreciation to a great guy. Because for those of you who don't know, Nate, Tiny Archibald, hello, NBA, Boston Celtics, name up in the rafters, okay? There's a lot of people that came out of the Bronx that were successful in basketball, here in the States, overseas, and abroad.
And you know what? When we were painting that court, a lot of the younger kids didn't know about him.
Okay.
Right? So once I told them to Google it. They Googled it. And they was like, "Oh, this guy he really came from this neighborhood."
Yes.
So it's a message to the young kids that if he can make it out during that time in the '60s, anybody can make it out. You can be whoever you want to be.
Right.
It's just a matter you just have to apply yourself.
That's true. Because along with the Nates, don't want to call too many names out there. The Jordans, the Dr. J. Oh, I remember Julius Erving out there in Ruckett Park. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar right out St. Jude's, right off of Broadway and 200th Street in that area.
Yes,
Winter Power
yes.
Memorial. I see all of his jerseys and trophies there. A lot of people come out of here. And just like you say if they can do it, we can do it.
Yes.
Because watching the convention last night, I'm time stamping this show. One thing Sister Michelle Obama said, her mother used to tell her, don't complain about something, get up and do it.
There you go. There you go.
And if you have a thought, put it into action.
There you go.
A man reaps what he sows. If you sow a thought, you reap an action.
Agree,
If you sow an action, you reap a character. If you sow a character, you'll reap a habit. If you sow that habit, you can reap your destiny.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not what you think you are, but what you think you become.
Yes.
So, these kids can do whatever they like to do and then pass it. And, if it's for the right cause, and they have good people like you and others putting stuff together for them to show them the way. That's what's so important. And to show them what we had, what fun we had, and they can have it also. Mm-hmm. So going to the next stage, you did something else awesome just this past weekend in Mullally Park. This is the third year for that. Yeah, I'm surprising you, okay?
Nice.
Yeah.
That was nice.
So now, passing it on to the kids there, because you started out with the basketball games with the young guys there.
Yes. That was great. We had 3 high school teams come up. I don't remember all the teams. Clinton, it was Fordham Prep,
Right.
Brian's team, South Bronx Prep. And so it was about three teams. And unfortunately, it was rained out because we had the old timers. To me that was the highlight because the older guys were supposed to play, but because of rain, we had to drop that.
Transition that.
Yes.
But when I came in, because I was at another event, actually I was at the Marble Hill event, Family Day, that Saturday, so I was there from like 9 till about 2, came out to Mullally Park.
And thank you, Joyce, for showing up. You helped us a lot, 100%. I appreciate it. You always come through for us.
And especially with his basketball, I enjoy that. And I came in, the first game was still in play, and it was the young men with the red jerseys.
That was Fordham Prep and South Bronx.
And the guys with the red jerseys.
Yeah, that was Brian's team actually.
The one was with
Brian
the red
Downey.
jerseys.
Yeah, that was Brian
from Fordham Prep here in the Bronx.
Yes.
Okay, Brian, shout out to you.
You're going to speak with him next week, right?
Brian will come on the show. You'll see it in the next editions of the show. I'll have him on the show. He's part of the Bronx Basketball Hall of Fame on the board of directors. He's also the coach of Fordham Prep.
Yes.
He won
Great guy.
Yeah,
yes,
great guy. Mm-hmm. But his team, they play such great fundamental basketball. So if any of you young guys are watching, I'm giving y'all a shout out. I love their fundamental basketball. But that was a good game.
Good game.
Those young boys played.
Good game.
And then the green team, I don't want to get too much involved, but they had good game, good shots, okay, good. They were good at competing against one another, and that's what's important. They can compete without fights and arguments and things. It was a very peaceful game.
And that's what this organization is about. We want to do things for our youth because our youth, like I said, they need some guidance and we need to teach them the fundamentals.
Right, and then we had hot dogs and little
burgers
and chips and stuff for them afterwards. Plenty of waters. Those young guys were thirsty. Then after the first game, there was a second game. And see, that's miraculous because that green team played 2 games back to back.
Yes.
And they gave it their all.
Yes.
And they played hard.
Yes.
They were good games. And then the third team, as Derek mentioned, was the old timers game.
Well, they didn't play.
They didn't play because he had to take it to the gym?
We had 3 high school games. We were supposed to have 4 games, actually.
Right.
And it started raining.
Of the rain.
Yeah, so the old timers couldn't play.
Mm-hmm. So coming back to the purpose of Mullally Park, it's an annual reunion that the Bronx Basketball Hall of Fame does. And even in the 2 years past, they had some other affiliates with their tables and giving out giveaways. I like the part about 2 years ago, you had the truck for the men for prostate screening.
Yes.
That was fabulous. We need
Yes.
to revisit that again, because not only that, I was at one organization too. They had a health truck. They had a dental truck also.
Yes, yes.
Because people might not have the opportunity.
Some people can't afford it. You know?
That's it,
And
to
all
go
that
to
was
a
free.
doctor.
I mean, thanks to Rudy Combs. I mean, he was the
Okay.
one that got the truck. Was only reason we couldn't get this year because it was occupied on the day that we picked.
Okay.
But other than that, it would have been there.
Okay, so I'm going to have Mr. Rudy Combs on this show also as well in future shows. So we'll get him to talk about his affiliation with that, and maybe next year we can plan it where we can get all of
Yes,
that
yes.
again. But like I said, this organization is in its third year, growing long and strong, and you gain from what you did the past year for the next year.
We're getting experience. Every year it's getting better and better.
So tell us about this year. Our event is about to come up in November.
Yes, oh yes. We're getting ready to have our awards event November 7th at Villa Barone. Like I said, last year we had 450. We're expecting another sellout. And actually, ticket sales will go on sale tomorrow. So I have all the tickets now. And we'll be charging $135 per ticket, which
that's
isn't
good.
bad. I mean,
Yeah.
you get a full course meal, you get cocktails, open bar, and music, entertainment. So it's going to be a great event, and the people that we're putting in this year
Right.
is amazing. And
Yeah.
what I really like about our board is the fact that, you know, we didn't put in a lot. You would think that because this is basketball that we would put a lot of basketball players in. We put in actually 6 contributors, you know, and these contributors are people that, you know, give back to the community through other, you know, means. And it's not only about just basketball players per se.
Right.
You know, it's about people that giving back to the community, and we put in 6 this year. So I'm
it's not
impressed with
just basketball players, like you saying coaches, referees.
that. We
And
got
see,
to put in a referee this year.
because refs are important parts of the game, and they have to run up and down the court just as much as a basketball player. They have to stay in shape.
We can't play the game without the refs.
Okay.
So thanks to the refs, you know, we take them for granted sometimes, but they're an important part of the game of basketball.
And who else are part of contributors?
You have now, for instance, community leaders, guys
Okay.
that ran community centers, and like for instance, you got somebody like who am I thinking about, a contributor, like William Modest.
Okay.
Right now, William Modest, my man, I love that guy.
Okay.
Right. He's 83 years old, and I'm glad we got him in this year. He was a contributor and a referee.
Wow.
All right. So, I mean, he reffed and he coached kids and he worked in the community centers. So it's people like that that worked in community centers
Right.
that don't always get the credit that they deserve.
Recognition.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's so important, because like they said, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes the whole community to get involved. And my church, you know, people, you know, I'm a minister in my church, and what we say, unity in a community. What I say in my church, everybody is somebody. It's not always just a minister, just the usher. Everybody plays an important role in the community.
Yes.
I can remember in my community center, like you said, maybe some of them people could have been a contributor, because when we came in the center, we had to show our ID cards. Did you have that?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. You kidding?
And-
Mr. Lane wasn't playing that. God
And I was
rest him,
going to
boy.
say, Miss Doris, you couldn't get past that table unless you showed your ID
Where's
card.
your card at?
Oh, you know me. I've been coming here for 2-3 years. Got to have your card.
You couldn't get in. I remember I forgot my card one day and I couldn't get in. I was like, but you know me.
Right.
Go get your card. That's Mr. Lane. Go
Right.
get your card.
Okay. And people like that, you know, they supplied. Oh, we lost. What's that? Table tennis, ping
Yes,
pong.
ping pong.
We lost the ball. Y'all stop losing that ball. She go in the closet, get another one. You know, people like that add to all of that.
They're important.
They're important.
They're very important.
They're important. You know, and some of them might still be alive today. If you see me on this show, thank you for being part of my community,
Yes.
growing up there,
Yes.
because I can look back and said I had a good time in my neighborhood. You know, and I survived. I've seen a lot. I've experienced a lot, and I share a lot now, and that's what's important. And that's the purpose of one of the purposes, I think, of Bronx Basketball Hall of Fame, is giving back. They're not just doing this just to do it. They want to show the generations behind them.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
pull them up. There's things you can do. There's things you could be a part of. Look at the history, her story, his story. Everybody has a story. Okay, look at the history of your neighborhood. You know, because each neighborhood has a history.
Yes, it does.
They have good people in there. That's why I say neighborhood and you, because there's so much in this neighborhood that we can talk about, so much good that goes on that we don't know about and hear about. Your next door neighbor that lived to you next door, what are they doing now? Do we know? You know, that's part of why we have these reunions every year, and not just us, not just Patterson projects, Marble Hill projects, all these neighborhoods that have different reunions and barbecues. Come out, join, see who you haven't seen for a long, long time. Join in, fellowship, give, okay? Whatever you can. It might not always be monetary. If you have time to give a little time. If you have an old bicycle you haven't ridden, donate it to the flea market. You know, I'm just saying things amiss, but this is part of giving back to your neighborhood, okay? Giving back because something was given to you while you were growing up in that neighborhood. You might not have known it at that time, but something was done and given to you. Well, Derek, before we close out, anything you want to say or contribute or just share with the people if I missed, you know, regarding the Bronx Basketball Hall of Fame?
Yeah, you know, but there's a lot of things that we want to accomplish, but we can't accomplish it without funds, without money. I mean, one of the things that we're looking forward to doing is trying to have a basketball tournament for the youth. And I'm huge with women's basketball. I would like to put that out there and have some tournaments for the women. So, but there's a lot of things we want to do, but so in other words, what I'm trying to say is we need your support. We need your financial support, we need your money, you know, and we need to accomplish things that cost money. You have to pay for refs, you have to get uniforms.
Right.
So we can't do this on our own. We want to do it this year, but we didn't really get the funding that we thought we would get.
Right.
So just reaching out, we just need everyone's help. And when we do something, we just need some participation. It's not always about money. Like if we have any events, we'd love it if you come on out and support us.
That's right.
Because it's about mingling with people and getting back with your mentors. I mean, if it wasn't for my mentors, I wouldn't be here right now. These men played a huge part in my life, and I want to thank them right now. Thank you for doing what you did for me and guiding me in the right direction. I love you guys.
Okay, Derek, thank you for being a guest on the show again. We'll have you on again. And I just want to say thank you for tuning in to Marble Hill 225 Neighborhood and You, where it's about you and the community, the people that grew up in here, and all the good things that's happening in your neighborhood. And remember, there's unity in the community. Stay Bronx strong. God bless you.